What a tragic end to such a masterpiece with so much potential. Google defines tragic as something causing or characterized by extreme distress or sorrow. Let me explain in this video why I consider the ending of Penthouse tragic. First of all, trust me, I love Penthouse and I am one of the die-hard fans, but some things are meant to be addressed and I would not blindly try to justify a drama just because it's one of my favorite. That being said, this is definitely not a hate video. There are always pros and cons to things, so I will be mentioning both in this video. Episode 14 marked the end of Penthouse War In Life series. Penthouse got famous because of its mind-blowing plot twists, which kept the viewers like me on the edge of their seats. On top of that, the acting by the cast was incredible. That's why I personally enjoyed season 1 the most. And then season 2 was great too, because these first two seasons showed the full potential of the actors and the writer too. But I feel like in extending and stretching the drama too much, the story lost its direction. We all saw it happen, but we continue to watch and support this drama because we have been attached to the cast and the characters enough to watch this drama no matter if the story makes sense or not. The Penthouse was never realistic to begin with, but Penthouse was always realistic to this much extent where we wouldn't straight up call it a fantasy drama. Even though multiple times the Penthouse twists questioned the reality, they were still acceptable. But Penthouse 3 twists were ridiculous and made no sense to the point where calling Penthouse a fantasy drama wouldn't be wrong. But I don't want to completely disregard the whole episode 14. There are multiple good things about the last episode of Penthouse 3. So I'll first mention the things that I did enjoy in the last episode before moving on to the things that totally left me disappointed. One of my favorite things about the last episode was the character development of the Penthouse kids. Some had the character development and some were on the journey of this development. But all in all, it was heartwarming and good to watch them grow and mature into better people, unlike some of their parents. Watching this remarkable growth of once weak, troubled characters into strong, independent characters made me happy. I was happy to see Rona finally achieving her dreams and making her parents and supporters proud. It was good to see that both Seok-hun and Rona are focused more on their careers, but at the same time love each other and are there for each other. Watching Eun Byul finally finding something that makes her smile and finding a peaceful, accepting and loving community around her was also a really good ending for her. But what I really enjoyed was the ending of Seok-kyung, how she completely evolved into this kind and sweet human being, but still having her fierce side to her. Seok-kyung living an independent life was one of the main plot twists from last episode that was satisfying to watch. Also, watching Mari being a total badass businesswoman and moving into the penthouse of newly constructed Simun Palace was satisfying. And thank God Seo Jin went to jail again for fraud, because that man never had any character development. He remained just the same till the very end. Also, it was nice that they included Jin Bong-hun in the end too. That scene actually made me cry because it really showed how much Bong-hun loved Eun Byul. Now let's talk about the ending and let me explain why the ending was just not it. The moment they show Suryeon at Rona's performance, and then when Logan and Suryeon sit in the car, and then all of a sudden the drama reverses the time all the way back to 3 years when Dante dies, my heart started racing. I thought this is it. We are getting the long-awaited, incredible, shocking, mind-blowing plot twist which the writer promised to us. But as I watched it all the time, I was like, what is even going on? I thought to myself, was this the plot twist writer wanted us to see? You know, the fact that the drama turned into a fantasy drama in the end and Suryeon and Logan went to heaven wasn't that disappointing. The thing that was the most disappointing was how the whole character of Suryeon was destroyed. Suryeon, a selfless, strong and loving mother who spent her whole life protecting her children, killed herself in the end. This was disappointing, and no, there's no way to justify it by saying she did it for her children. Logan did give her a life jacket, but it was her decision not to wear it and die. The Suryeon I knew from season 1 literally almost died and came back to life just for her children. So you're telling me Suryeon left her children all alone in the end? Even if Suryeon felt bad for Yun Hee and Yunchul, as she says in the last scenes, but Suryeon that I know of was not someone who would escape the situation. The Suryeon I know of off, if felt bad for the deaths of these people, would spend her entire life helping the kids of these people. Knowing that Sokhun, Sokyong, Hein, Rona, Unbyul and Logan will go through so much after her death, still they showed that Suryeon killed herself. No, that does not make sense, and yes, it's quite a disappointment and destruction of one of my favorite characters, so I will not stop talking about it. You know, when a drama is incredible like Penthouse and has always delivered such mind-bending twists, such a slow, uneasy and tragic ending just doesn't sit right with me and many of us fans. The Penthouse was the drama that made a guy being exploded in a bomb come back alive. Penthouse saved a woman on whom a chandelier fell with such force that her internal organs should have all been destroyed. When such things were possible in Penthouse, you're telling me still they decided to end Penthouse like this? Even if the writer had to kill Suryeon in the end, I wished it was not this way. And what's with the sudden diseases of all the characters? When there are so many possibilities, the writer still magically made Logan and Seo Jin sick in the end. That was so unnecessary. So in the end, Seo Jin gets cancer and Logan also has cancer. The drama that loves to show iconic deaths, these final deaths of the last episodes of Penthouse were very underwhelming. Do you know what makes me truly salty and sad as hell? The villains and evil people had better and more emotional death scenes than the good people. Yun Hee died just like that. We were never shown Yun Hee's internal dialogue or her remembering her emotional past or loved ones before dying. Yun Hee died so brutally and painfully. But when the writer ended Seo Jin in the last episode, they tried to make it such an emotional scene. They wanted us to feel bad for Seo Jin. They showed scenes of the past to make us more emotional, and it felt like they somehow wanted us to forgive Seo Jin. How can we magically forget that Seo Jin was the main villain and she killed almost all main characters? Similarly, as I said before, Dante's death was also made in a way to make it so emotional and in a way that we sympathize with him. But Yunchul dies just like that. This makes me really sad. So the writer wanted to kill all the main characters. Okay, that's really sad, but fine. I'll accept it as it's Penthouse, even though that's completely unnecessary. Also, I wasn't expecting a very bubbly ending anyways. But what's sadder is that the deaths were executed so poorly. There were countless ways the drama could have ended, but it ended with characters going to heaven. You know, even that could have been done better. When Suryeon and Logan started walking towards heaven, I hoped they showed Yun Hee, Yunchul and Minsola standing on the gate or something and welcoming them. It would have been nice to see all of our favorite characters who died so wrongly for one last time. It wasn't that hard to call them for one last scene, but they still didn't even do that. The drama showed us that the end is bittersweet and that the kids grew up and the adults are dead now. But due to the things I mentioned above, I say this was truly a tragic end. Lastly, even with an unsatisfactory end, I still want to appreciate the efforts of all the cast, crew and writer who made this drama possible for us. We can't disagree that we enjoyed this drama for a long time and it helped bring so many people together. Thank you and goodbye, Penthouse.